Do I have a week of updates for you? The National Association of Realtors makes a huge settlement that will redefine how real estate sales are conducted. Those hurt the most are the buyers, and I'll tell you how. The lock-in effect is in full effect, keeping sellers stuck and buyers with little to no help, and I'll tell you why. Lastly, Zillow reports that the best time to sell is June. This is a joke of a statement, and it does not apply to San Diego. This covered and more in this week's San Diego Market Matters. I'm Karl, your San Diego Realtor. Let's jump into it. Real quick, if you enjoy these videos along with any of my other content I post on my channel, you can support me by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Also, please feel free to share my content with anyone that's looking to sell or buy here in San Diego. A little over a week ago, the National Association of Realtors settled for $418 million in an antitrust case suggesting that there's been colluding amongst the largest brokers and NAR to price fix commissions. Bottom line, it was believed that commissions to buyer's agents was forced upon the sellers, otherwise their home wouldn't sell. Let me break this down a bit. When I take a listing, my seller agrees to pay me 5 to 6% to sell their home. My goal is to find a buyer by whatever means, and when I find that buyer, the seller pays out 5 to 6% at closing. Simple as that. Part of the agreement also says that if I find a buyer that has representation, meaning they're working with a buyer's agent to protect them and their interests, I will allocate part of my commissions towards that buyer's agent. Essentially, the case against NAR is suggesting that the allocated commissions were price fixed. Starting in this July, buyers' commissions will no longer be posted in the multiple listing service, which is the platform we as agents use to find properties for our buyers amongst other platforms. Going forward, it will no longer be required for sellers to pay for a buyer's agent's commission or compensation. Guess who that falls on now? It falls heavily, and I mean heavily, on the buyers. So if you're thinking of buying, starting in July, according to this case, it will now cost you more to buy. That's what it says on paper, at least. Well, here's some good news in light of all of this. It is very unlikely that the current practice will change drastically. Here's what is expected. Instead of commissions being posted on the MLS, if you decide you want to work with me, I will go to the listing agent and negotiate my commission in the form of a concession or a credit from the seller at closing. So the buyer will still pay it, but they will have control over how much they pay. If it's the case that they won't pay, then the buyer will be stuck with the cost themselves. Another effect of the settlement: all buyers will have to have a signed agreement with an agent to preview any property on the market. Open houses, that dynamic is still being looked into though. So no one-off showings without an agreement between you and a realtor. Now, this begs the question, why wouldn't a buyer go directly to a listing agent to process the transaction and not have to pay the cost to the buyer's agent? Now keep in mind, the listing agent's job and fiduciary duty, meaning that they have the responsibility to do what is right, is legally and contractually to the seller. If you aren't willing to pay a buyer's agent to rep your best interest, that listing agent is going to be out to get the most money and the best terms for the seller, leaving you stuck looking out for yourself. Now, if you know what to look out for legally, financially, logistically, economically, and with regards to the condition of the home, then yeah, you can easily rep yourself. Interestingly, most lawyers, investors, high wealth individuals hire a realtor to rep themselves in a purchase for protection. I'll do another video on this in depth and keep you updated as this continues to fold. Let's go ahead and move on. The Federal Housing Finance Agency, the FHFA, published a 52-page paper titled "The Lock-in Effect of Rising Mortgage Rates." They said in this paper that the rise of interest rates has led to a 57% reduction in home sales of homes with fixed interest rates in the fourth quarter of 2023. The total loss from early 2022 to the end of 2023 is estimated to be 1.3 million lost sales during that time. Now that's as far as the data goes for them to make that statement, but the fact of the matter is that the lock-in is in full effect. This chart shows the loss in sales since quarter 2, the springtime of 2022, until the end of quarter 4 of 2023. So basically up until the New Year's of 2024. The FHFA found that for every 1 point, that means 1%, that the mortgage rate grew beyond the original rate that a homeowner has, the probability of that homeowner selling their home decreased by 18.1%. Now let me show you what that means. Say a homeowner has a mortgage interest rate of 4%. When the interest rates hit 5%, that homeowner's probability of selling went down 18.1%. When rates hit 6%, Probability of selling went down 36.2%. When rates hit 7%, probability went down to 52.3%. And this example is only considering someone with a 4% interest rate. I sold tons of homes to buyers with rates below 4%. So what the heck is the lock-in exactly? Nearly all 50 million active mortgages have fixed interest rates that are significantly below current market rates. Right now, mortgage interest rates are trending around 7%, and as a result, this has de-incentivized homeowners to sell. I've talked about this in past Market Matters videos. Homeowners with a 3 to 5% interest rate don't want to give up that rate, especially in the scenario where they need to move up. If they did, they would not only be paying more for a home that is bigger, they would also be paying a radically higher interest rate. These two factors compounding throw out an insane monthly payment that obliterates a homeowner's interest or motivation to sell and then buy. If sellers aren't willing to sell, this contributes to a lower inventory of homes on the market. Low inventory drives demand, which causes prices to rise on housing. Bottom line, the lock-in restricts sellers from moving, results in people not living in homes they want, inflates prices, and worsens affordability. So we lock in sellers and lock out more and more buyers from being able to buy over time. As we round fourth base to finish off this week's Market Matters, Zillow recently posted an article saying that the best time to sell is in June. If rates drop, this could be possible this year. But this is not the standard, at least not for San Diego. Surely every realtor gets asked this: when is the best time during the year to sell or buy? For San Diego, we don't have severe weather conditions that deter buyers or sellers from going to market. We also don't have a mass number of people that come and go depending on the season. Here in San Diego, you can literally sell or buy a home all year long, even during the holidays at the end of the year. Now, we do have fluctuations throughout the year, but the number of buyers to sellers stays relatively the same. During the spring and summer, more sellers may come to market, but so do more buyers. Bottom line, if you're wanting to buy or sell, the best time is when it works best for you. The only time you're put at a disadvantage is if something drastically happens in the market that causes it to shift, and to shift immediately. Now that's it for this week's San Diego Market Matters. If you thought this was a valuable video, please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. And if you're thinking of selling or buying, don't hesitate to reach out. And as always, I'm Karl, your San Diego Realtor. I'll see you in the next video. Shh.